Imagine waking up one morning, minding your own business, maybe brewing some tea or knitting, and suddenly the entire village decides you're the devil's best friend. Welcome to life as a woman during the witch hunts, a world where spilling milk, coughing too much, or just being a little too smart could get you burned, drowned, or worse. Spoiler alert, it wasn't pretty. History loves to romanticize witches. Pointy hats, magic potions, flying on broomsticks, cute Halloween costumes maybe. But being a real woman accused of witchcraft in the 15th to 18th centuries, that was the opposite of cute. It was terrifying, humiliating, and painfully unfair. Let's dive into why being a woman during the witch hunts was basically signing up for a lifetime of horror, and often a very short one. When people think of witches, they imagine glamour and power, mystical knowledge, secret spells, maybe a secret cat companion. But the truth? Being a woman accused of witchcraft was not glamorous. Most accusations came from neighbors, rivals, or jealous in-laws. Sometimes all it took was being too old, too poor, or too outspoken. Grandma knitting in the corner? Witch. The local herbalist curing a rash? Witch. The lady who told the baker off for overcharging? Witch. It was basically an open call for societal grudges to become lethal. And forget about your broomstick. Your weapons were mud, superstition, and fear. Any claim that you had magical powers was a death sentence in the eyes of the local authorities. So much for empowerment. Being a woman in this era wasn't just about surviving witch hunts. It was surviving daily life with a constant suspicion. Every cough, every mistake was a potential accusation waiting to happen. Overly friendly with animals? That's familiar spirit territory. Spoke out in public? That's defying God's order. Owned a garden? That's suspicious herbs. Even laughing too loudly or dressing too nicely could earn a reputation you didn't want. And rumor traveled faster than a plague. In a small village, your reputation was fragile. One whisper about a hex, one misinterpreted sneeze, and suddenly, everyone from your neighbor to the local priest is watching you like you're a ticking time bomb. Imagine trying to cook, clean, or just exist while literally everyone around you thinks your body is a crime scene for satanic activity. That's life in a nutshell. Most accused witches weren't found practicing magic. They were accused for convenience or malice. Some common accusations included, "She cursed my cow." "She made my child sick." "She offended God by speaking her mind." "She looked at me funny." Yes, literally looking at someone the wrong way could get you sentenced to death. And the court system? It was basically rigged. Trials relied on confessions extracted through fear, torture, or social pressure. Any denial could be interpreted as proof of guilt. Women were at a disadvantage because social norms dictated that men's words carried more weight. So even if a woman said, "I didn't curse your cow, you lunatic," chances were slim anyone believed her. And let's be real, if your neighbor accused you because they wanted your chickens, you were screwed. Here's where it gets truly horrific. Once accused, women weren't just socially shamed, they were tortured. And yes, the term witch came with very literal consequences. Some methods included the infamous swimming test: tie the woman up, toss her in a pond, and if she floated, witch. If she sank, probably dead. Win-win, not so much. Thumbscrews, rack, and other medieval contraptions, designed to break bones and force confessions. Sleep deprivation, food deprivation, and isolation. Because nothing says innocent until proven guilty, like being starved and hallucinating in a dungeon. Even surviving torture didn't guarantee freedom. The stigma of being accused could last a lifetime. And if you were convicted, burning at the stake, hanging, or drowning were common endings. Basically, the witch hunts were like the worst subscription service you never signed up for with no refunds. Why women, specifically? Historians debate, but a few patterns stand out. Women were expected to be submissive and religious. Any deviation? Suspicious. Older women without male protectors were easy scapegoats. Midwives and herbalists, often women, were blamed for unexplained deaths or failed births. Men could be accused too, but women made up the vast majority of victims, sometimes up to 75 to 80%. Society's misogyny made women more vulnerable, especially those who were independent, outspoken, or just didn't fit the expected mold. Being a woman in this context wasn't just dangerous, it was statistically a death sentence if you drew attention. The evidence used against women often makes modern minds reel. A few examples: moles or birthmarks were considered devil's marks. Sneezing in court? Possibly witchcraft. Weird or unpleasant odors? Evidence of a pact with Satan. Animals, especially cats, dogs, and toads? Suspected familiars. Basically, if you could think of a reason to be suspicious, they'd find a way to pin it on you. Common sense had no place in the courtroom. It was guilt by anything remotely unusual, exaggerated by superstition and fear. It wasn't just the accused women who suffered. Their families were collateral damage. Children were orphaned, husbands often ruined financially defending their wives, and entire villages could descend into hysteria. Accusations could spark chain reactions. One woman accused, one neighbor blames another, and suddenly the village is in chaos. People turned on each other out of fear, greed, or vengeance. Being a woman during a witch hunt meant living under a society-wide microscope, where every misstep could have consequences not just for you, but for everyone around you. Some women did survive, but survival often meant sacrificing autonomy, freedom, or dignity. Many confessed to crimes they didn't commit, naming others to save themselves. Others went into hiding, forced into exile, or were ostracized for life. In a twisted way, survival often required complicity with the very system that was designed to destroy you. A woman couldn't just fight back. She had to navigate a minefield of superstition, fear, and human cruelty. So, next time you dress up as a witch for Halloween or joke about casting spells, remember, real witches didn't get to laugh. They got accused, tortured, and killed for just existing. Being a woman during the witch hunts meant living under constant threat, surviving fear and superstition, and sometimes watching those around you die for no reason other than jealousy, superstition, or bad luck. It sucked, plain and simple. And yet, despite everything, these women endured. Their stories remind us that bravery doesn't always come from wielding magic. It comes from simply living in a world designed to destroy you. So, hats off to the witches who didn't fly on brooms but survived in far more terrifying ways. And maybe, just maybe, think twice before complaining about your Monday morning. Compared to 16th century Europe, you're living like a queen.